Hello, hello, hello. Mic test, mic test, mic test, mic test. Hello, guys, and welcome to the 159th edition of the Trading Opportunities webinar. This is Nirav, and before we begin, let me give you a very rough rundown of what we are doing here. So, this is a weekly webinar series, and let me know, guys, how's the microphone, Raghu and Marco? I can see you there. So, let me know about that and the screen sharing if it's working fine or not. So as I was saying, this is the weekly webinar series. We discuss global instruments, including currency pair USD, crude oil, gold, S&P 500, and Bitcoin. And so far, we have been doing these every Friday. Do keep in mind we conduct 3 publicly and 1 privately for our private Slack group members. And in the past 158 webinars, we have 157 webinars, I should say. We have captured a total of 394 trades. Keep in mind, we conduct these webinars at 4:30 p.m. GMT. So just convert it to whatever time zone you are in. Right. That's it for the webinar. You can check my past work forecast accuracy, which beats all industry standards here. We have a track record starting from 2016, back when I actually started doing all this YouTube and public stuff. And you can check my course and book, etc., by visiting my website and using the links. It's all quite self-explanatory. Anyways, the way we will proceed with this webinar is, as always, we'll first discuss the currency pair Euro USD, as you can see listed here. Then crude oil, followed by gold, S&P, and in the end Bitcoin. The process is that I'll first discuss. I'll first check the last webinar's recording, last public webinar's recording, I should say, and then we'll go to the live chart. After which I'll discuss the current analysis and any possible trade, etc., or setup, etc. And eventually we'll have some seconds after that or moments after that where you can post in your question. That being said, let's now head over to our live stuff. Okay, so I'll think everything looks good and everything is working fine. So I'll just get started with the Euro USD chart on screen right now. So this was the discussion conducted in our last webinar. Let me just check if something specific was mentioned here. So there's a bearish setup and there's a bullish setup. H1 is bearish and H2 is bullish, and we are bearish below 1.09345. Let's note that for a second. And of course, we are bullish over whatever this is, 1.10600. Let's now head over to the live chart and see how things have progressed so far since our discussion. Here is the live chart on screen now, and let's check. Since the last webinar was conducted on 4th of this month, here is the 4th, and as you can see, market did go above our upside level 1.10600, initiating a long setup, did not take out the swing lows, so the setup remained valid, and the market has since then progressed in an upward fashion, hence making this analysis a +1. So this one worked out in our favor, as you can see. Now comes the part where we want to discuss what's happening right now on this particular chart. Then 1 second. So let's just look at this chart by zooming in into the last part of this movement. So on this point of reference, we are assuming this as our starting point of analysis, which, as I just said, as point of reference. We are assuming an impulsive progression in the other direction. And 1 second, let me check one more thing here. 50-50 scenario then. So anyways, if this is an impulsive progression in the upward direction from here, then we are going to see 5 legs, which should roughly look like this, as is projected on the rough right hand side with the white color. And we will label them simply like this. Continuing on with this analogy, we have 1 here completed, and so can be said by the 2, about the 2, and 3 is complete as well. So we are currently in a corrective phase for wave 4, and generally the market does go around 23.6 or 38.2 retracement, and 38.2 is coming in at 1.12598. Market is already very near it, so it does not have any such conditions so that it has to exactly touch it. It can go a little bit above, a little bit below. That's all well and good. So as such, the minimum requirements have been met, and we don't have a trade in on this counter yet. But I will personally look for a trade once we see this market go above 1.13941. So we'll consider this as our major or main analysis that the market is expected to go up above H1 1.3941, and that's as such right now is just an alert. I'll reanalyze the market and look for long setups above this level. As for the bearish setups, if the market cannot sustain above 1.12598, that is, it does something like this, then we will have to invalidate the H1, or we will consider the H1 as least likely, less likely, and then we will look for some sort of bearish plays, which is not very clear at this point in time, as I must say. So right now we'll only go for H1. We wait for setup. So wait and watch for longs. Important level to watch out is this, and we'll see how it goes and update in the Slack. So if you guys have any doubts or questions, just push them in the live chat before we move over to another chart, or next chart of crude oil, I should say. Good evening, Raghu and Marco. Both are our Slack private group members. Hi, Nirav. Hi, dear Nirav, and everyone. Hi, Marco. Thank you for the confirmation. And again, one of our private Slack group members, Joe. Again, thank you for letting me know that. I don't see any questions or doubts. Just let me know if the pace is okay. You can just type in confirmed as well. Ativat, one of our private Slack group members. Good evening, Ativat. So with that, let's now head over to our next section or next chart, as I don't see any questions or doubts here. So here on screen is the discussion from our last webinar on crude oil. Let's see what was being said before we head over to our current analysis. Crude oil looks like we were having a bearish. I think I'm discussing some trade here. Yes, this is some trade setup I'm discussing. Here is a discussion of the actual chart. We are looking for a wave 4 followed by a wave 5. Wave 4 is coming around somewhere 63, 30, something. Let's see if I'm saying anything else. Nothing really, unless we see move over 65.20. We are not really looking for longs. So we were waiting for some sort of pullback and then down move. And then we had another counter view, which will only become active above this level. Quite clear enough. So let's now head over. And here on screen is the live chart for crude oil. Akos asks, is it possible to put a decelerating channel? Deaccelerating channel? I think he's talking about some downward channel. All good with the pace, Raghu, and pace is fine for me. Everything is clear so far. Thank you, Joe. So, Marco, let me just go over this West Texas chart, crude oil chart, and then I'll I have a quick look at Euro and try to figure out what you are saying. In the meantime, if you can be more clear about the question, that will be better. Yeah, I understand it's for Euro USD. So let's sort out what we think on crude oil chart. Last discussion on 4th April. Let's see what the market has done. It went around till 63 something, then went down. Again, it's +1. The analysis worked out on this chart as well, and as such I was able to capture some scalp shots here as well. So this is again a +1, went down as expected. Now let's look at the current view. Seems to have given a sharp recovery in this leg around 10th April. Let's analyze the chart. So as such, you can see I'm not very convinced about this bullish implication, which seems to be the suggestion from this up leg, strong up leg. Although I can be wrong here. As such, I don't have any position on this counter. I am at once assuming that possibly we are inside a wave 4. It's just an assumption, and wave 4 can also take another route or many different kinds of routes. So with this assumption, let's just go ahead and see what's the invalidation level, etc. So if this is a 4, then we are looking at a wave A up, and there should be a B down, which most likely will be a zigzag, or quite likely will be a zigzag, I should say. And then there will be an last step projection for E. Let's see once again. Right. So as such, the setup is very simple. We wait for a move below 59.20, let's just say, or yes, that is just fine. And herein I can have some scalp shorts because we are assuming that this is a triangle progression, and within the triangle, the wave B generally is or can be a zigzag. So we can just say dot A here and yellow for distinction. Dot B still progressing, and then dot C might be coming in play is the assumption right now. Excuse me. So with that in mind, we can say that the setup is quite clear for the bearish move. Let's just call it H1. We look for shorts only below 59.21. Below 59.20, we look for shorting opportunities. And as for H2, or what you call a secondary count, we'll consider longs above whatever this is, 63.228, 63.2, let's just say, roughly speaking. Do keep in mind the levels I use are for this data feed. You may have a different data feed, and you will have to accordingly adjust the levels. So H2 is suggesting bullishness 63.2, let's just say roughly. These are the two views, pretty straightforward, I can say. There's nothing much to discuss here, and if you have doubts or questions, just push them in the live chat. I'll just take a quick look at Euro, as Marco had a question about some sort of channel there. Just try to figure out if I can catch his real intention there. So he wants a decelerating channel. I guess he's talking about channel for wave 4. Got it. Got it. Sure, we can have it. It's a zigzag. So A down, B up, and C down, 0 to B channel is pretty valid. So with that in mind, it does look like perhaps we may have one more leg remaining for the C. Does look like C has one leg still left. Third looks complete. Possibly the fourth is progressing. Anyway, there is no real confirmation for it. So I'll just wait and watch for this. That does clear your question, I guess, Marco. Hey, Emmanuel, one of our regular viewers. And of course, Luis, good morning to you. Again, one of our regular viewers. All right, that's it for Euro and crude oil. I don't see any questions, and the doubt which was left out has been discussed now. So let's head over to our next chart in gold. See what the market has done there. So here on screen, you have the chart of gold as discussed in our last webinar, which was conducted on 4th of this month. Let's see what was being said on this chart. Looks like a pretty long discussion. I was discussing this correction, A down, B up, C down. We were assuming that the fourth is still under continuation. Let's see if there was something more specific discussed. 3023 was a target, but then again, it's already reached. So what am I even? So I'm just saying that H1 is bullish, or it can just go down and become bullish. So we do have a downside target as well. As you can see here, we are pointing out that H2 is suggesting 2944 and then leg up. So 2944 seems to be a sort of support here. Let's note it down before we move to the actual chart. Let's see if there's anything else. Nothing much. So we are assuming straight up move or support at around roughly 2944 and then up leg. Let's go to the live chart here on screen right now. In front of you is the live chart. Let's just first check the thesis from our last webinar. 4th April is here and the market did seem to go down. It did take support at 2956, a little bit above our marked level, and then reversed. So it is a +1. You can't expect anything more here. Of course, in live coverage, we would have discussed it in much more detail, but this is a public webinar and I don't want to check out what we said in live coverage and count that as a +1 or -4 or anything. So anyways, it went up as per our analysis and a little bit above the marked level, but it's all well and good as it was in our hypothesis too. And there was also a overlap in H1 and H2 about the upward movement after the 4th completion. That being said, let's now see what this counter is doing now. One second. So, and of course, guys, a quick request: if you are enjoying the content, do not forget to hit the like and much more importantly, share it. Somehow, the last webinar did not even cross 300 mark, which is very unique. Anyways, I can only request, and whatever happens from here on happens. So, kindly do your part, guys. Marcus, thank you. So I know how to do it correctly. All right, Marco, that's good to know. Now here's the live discussion for gold chart. Let's see what we are seeing. Okay, I am assuming this as our point of reference. Let's see what else I'm assuming here. Impulsive continuation. Let's just denote it with the orange color at once. Double bracket 1, complete here, complete here, in place 3. Now keep in mind we are using Elliott Wave theory, and Elliott Wave the structures are fractal in nature. Hence per se this wave 3 will again have, if you magnify it, 5 waves inside of it, which we can count as 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down, and 5 up. Now in this particular case we are looking at it as simple Roman 1, 2, and third is still in place. So we are here. This leg is still in play. So that means we are within the circle 3, or what you call double bracket 3. Let's just simplify it so there is no further confusion. So as I was saying, we are within the double bracket 3, and within that we are in the third, and within that we are more or less in the final stages. As such, I was able to capture this leg. Let me very quickly show you the trade here. I did longs. The price is around 3228 and exited anticipating reversal 3240. So roughly 11-12 points we were able to capture here, and I could have made some short plays here as well, but then came the webinar and my divided attention. Anyways, we still might be able to capture some short plays on this counter. Hopefully this much is clear. Let's just see where the 4 may lead us. Expected levels for retracement coming in at 3208 and 3182. So we are expecting some sort of correction which can end near one of these two levels. Hence, wait and watch for this retracement. We can make some short plays possibly. I do not have a confirmation that this fifth double bracket is complete, or what you call three is complete, and this is the diagonal. This is just my primary hypothesis. It has not played out the downward scenario as I would actually like it to. So it's a wait and watch market on the gold spot chart right now. Keep in mind we are using this data feed, so price levels may vary accordingly for you. And I do have to say one thing, that the long setup is very clear here. If the market goes above 30 to 45, then we definitely want to add longs here. Let's represent that with some other color here. So wait and watch for both of these scenarios. For short play, wait for retracement at the marked levels. For long play, wait for a breakout above this level, whatever this is. All right. So these are the two plays on gold spot right now, and it should become clear very soon. Only in case of wave 4 will we have to wait a little bit. In case of the other scenario, the trade setup will be quite straightforward, and stop loss does not look very big right now. Again, wait and watch for more clarity. Let me know if you have any doubts or questions before I head over to next chart. S&P 500. All right, Joe. Thank you for the update there. In that case, let's now head over to the next chart of S&P. So we do have the recording from our last webinar here in front of us for the chart of S&P's 500. Let's just see what was being said before we proceed to the live discussion. We were discussing bearish scenario. I remember Gu was, I think, asking if this is a good catch, and I did specifically mention this is definitely not a catch of anything, because this market had just opened up for huge downside possibilities, and we were expecting at least a circled 4 here as per this rough outlook. Let me see what else I was saying. What the hell is that? Let I click that mini player button. 4944. I don't think there was much of an analysis. It was just an outlook that more downside may be possible. And if there was analysis, I just can't see much of it. Yeah, I think the main theme was that more downside may be possible as wave 4 is now of a higher degree. As you can see, circle 1, circle 2, and that's the daily chart. So, and I don't know what this 4944 is. Maybe it's the low, recent low, or maybe that's the immediate target. So I'll just move over to the live chart here instead of wasting more time. You can check for your cross verification, etc. in your own time. Last discussion on 4th April. Let's see. On 7th April, the market has made a low around 4,800 roughly. All right, so 4944 was actually a support level because it wasn't hit on 4th April. So yes, market did go to 4944 and a little bit lower as well. And now it is progressing kind of up. How funny that is, we didn't even know about, one second, let me remove this. We didn't even know about the news about war, sorry, tariff war, I should say, and how it will pan out. But it has panned out in conjunction with our outlook, which is very funny and an interesting point to note. Anyways, right now I'm not very convinced about this upward trajectory, and my bias is 50-50. That is, I have a wait and watch scenario active here. What I'm assuming is that we can say that this thing is complete like this, like an A down, B up, and C down, kind of a zigzag move. On the other hand, I can also say that maybe this is just a 1, 2, and it's just progressing for 3 here, and then there will be a 4, and then there will be a 5. Both scenarios are active. I'm not fairly convinced about either one of them. And even in the case that this is a zigzag indeed, we cannot still say that the fourth is complete because wave fours are known to be more complex. As such, in theory and practice, you can expect this market to just move within this range, which is the white box range, roughly. It can just go up here and then down here and then up here and down here. And that just concludes the analysis. We don't really know much of anything at this point in time. Perhaps I can pull some short-term scalps or something here for long or short side. But that's about it. Only time we'll know for sure is when the market has panned out a little bit more. Let me see if I have something on the shorter time frame. Nope, not really. I do have some alerts placed on the downside, but then again, that's just self-explanatory. If we see move below 48, 42, we can then look for possible scalp shorts. Nothing to explain here. I just gave a rough outlook of the bigger picture and why I don't want to have any bias at this point in time and why it's a wait and watch market. Anyways, regardless, if you have any questions, you can just post it. Although I don't think there will be much to add here. And again, guys, if you are enjoying the content, do not forget to share it. We definitely need more views. So that's it for S&P. Upper bound of range. Let's just check it again. It can go a little bit above the upper bound. What is it? 6150. Let's just call it 6350 something. I'm just giving a rough projection. There is no precise level I have. I will know more once we see some price action. Even if it's going up, the internals of this upward movement will give us some projections which can help us determine the upper bounds. For now, let's just assume around 6350, 6400 maybe. I think 64 is a safe number. So upside around 6400 and downside it is already around 4800. 4804. So that we can say is the answer to your question, Raghu. Don't see any further questions. And that being said, let's just now head over to our last chart of BTC, Bitcoin. Let's see first what was being discussed in our last webinar. Okay, we do have a question. Daily wave 4 complete starting wave 5. Jeffrey is asking. So Jeffrey, as I just mentioned, it does seem to have completed the minimum projection requirement and exceeded it for wave 4. So you can at once say that there is a probability that 3 is complete and there is a probability that the 4th is complete, and this market is probably just going to go fly high. However, as I just said, I don't have any conviction so far. It is totally a news driven market at this point. So that's why I'm also kind of not very interested in making any commentary, although I do have some ideas. But what if he comes up with some more news, some other tariff? So it just kind of just gets thrown out of the window at once. All right, so that answers your question. And Daljit, as a request, and there is a guideline of these webinars, we only like to take questions and no what you call commentaries as such or knowledge. If you have anything to add, just start your own channel here. I'm not interested in any insight from you. Hopefully, it will be range bound for 90 post period of tariffs. I'll see about that, Raghu. Let's not hope too much. Here is the chart of BTC. Let's see what was being discussed in our last webinar before we head over to the live chart of this counter. I'm assuming a triangle continuation, possible leg up for C, down for D, and then up for E maybe. Let's just note 83,808 is the level. And it does look like that is the only count here, right? Let me see if there's something else. Questions should only be based on the analysis I have projected. If I wanted to get in that much detail, I would have pointed out myself. And this is not a class, so I will not answer everything. I'll just answer the things I want to answer. And you have posted it as a statement, not a question. Anyway, so it does look like we have only one count here, a triangle projection. That's all, A, B, C, D, E. And it is unclear if the C is complete. I think I must have discussed it, but let's just check it by speeding it up. Yes, there is a possibility that the C is still continuing. There it is. So we can have some more upside before downplay 90,000 something something roughly. That is enough, I think. Right. We now should head over and see the live chart. So here we do have the live chart. What has happened here since our last discussion? 4th April is here. The market actually went down and I seem to have updated it. So this one did not really work out as we expected. But then again, that's what we expect from Bitcoin. Always playing out weird counts. Anyway, so what looks to be the case is I'm assuming it actually has 3-4 counts. I'm just discussing one for the sake of keeping things simple and not consuming too much time on this. Because you guys already know I don't really trade BTC that much. Let me see. Nope. So here's the count we are following. Let's just change the color at once. I'm assuming it's a complex. Again, as I said, there are multiple projections here. I'm just assuming the one which is fairly convenient to explain. Perhaps that's the X. And that's the Y. That's just one of the multiple possibilities. The main idea is that this market can just propagate sideways. Within this range, the range can even extend a little bit to the downside and less likely to extend to the upside if this is the count being followed. So we'll just go with the fact that this market has possibly some more downside remaining. As far as setups are concerned, we can look for scalp shots below 74,655. That is rather self-explanatory, though it will be risky because even if the market goes, let's just say like this, even if then it can just become range bound within this new box. So the down leg while is still a real possibility, it is not a very strong projection, right? So I think there isn't much to add here. It's just a wait and watch market, and we don't really want to put any more time on this counter. We'll probably have something more to say once we see some more what you call play here. Anything else? If you have any doubts, just push them in the live chat. Otherwise, we'll just consider this whole thing as complete. And yes, of course, guys, as always, The request remains, do kindly share the content once you have finished watching it. If you are watching it as a recording, of course, share it in your Slack, Discord, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever you use for sharing the or connecting with your trading buddies. As far as this chart is concerned, I'll still wait a few more moments for possible questions. If not, you can just type in clear understood, and that will conclude the webinar for us. We do seem to have a very consistent audience with this webinar. That's a good thing. No questions. You're welcome, very welcome, Luis. All right, guys. So in that case, we can say that we have discussed everything, and more comments are being typed in. Let me just check. Everything was clear for me. Good to know that, Joe. Thanks a lot of benediction. Welcome, guys. Joe, Marco, Luis, Raghu. All right. See you guys in the Slack group. And again, if you guys are not aware, we do have a private Slack group. I mean, how can you be not aware? It's just scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So check the details by clicking the link in the description. If you are on YouTube, if you are on LinkedIn, again, the links will be or should be in the description. Thank you again for invaluable insights on the market. Welcome, we are a little family. That's a very nice notion, Marco, and good of you to think that way. All right, guys. I'll see you in the Slack group if you are there. Not, I'll catch you guys in the next public stream. Bye, Tibet. See you guys in the next one. Take care.